help comes through vulnerability. You have to be able to admit certain things in order to receive the help that you need. If we walk around and just with our chest poked out and act like ain't nothing bothering us, can't nothing touch us, you know what I'm saying, but go home and cry in the car, like how could that help us? How could that help us?
Let's get to it. Today we're diving into another conversation about mindset, discipline, and the profound impact it has on manhood. You know, manhood doesn't always have to look the same for everyone. And we know real strength lies in authenticity and personal truth. So what we're going to do today, we'll dive into a conversation about what real men think, how we feel, and how we navigate the complexities of modern masculinity. Today's conversation, we have Mr. John Kelly on with us, the Assistant Athletic Director for Facilities and Events at Vanderbilt University, athlete, a man of his word. John, appreciate you being here today, bro.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man.
No doubt.
Excited to be here.
My guy. So I think we'll start today really with the most obvious question. How do you, John Kelly, define manhood?
Man, I think it's all about being your authentic self at all times and just, being that person for, all the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Being able to make the necessary sacrifices in life, in order to propel yourself, not only prepare yourself for it, but to help others up along the way. I think that is the ideal manhood, is just to bring people along with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So talk to me a little bit about sacrifice, because that was one of the words you just mentioned. And I know for each of us that could look a little bit different, but talk to me about what sacrifice actually means to you as a man.
I would say, I'm a father. So of a 7-year-old. My daughter just turned 7 a week ago, actually. So
well,
you know what I'm saying? Just yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. So being able to, put myself to the side to make sure that she has what she needs. Not only that, growing up, my mom always kind of, told me I was the man of the house. And, I feel like I owe her the world, and just being able to, go out here every day in society and just try to prove it every day. I think it's a sacrifice. Every day I feel like as men, we put our lives on the line in order to, protect what we have and to, make a better life for our family. So I think that's a tremendous sacrifice in itself.
Of course. It most certainly is. And I think you know this, and I know this about you, but family is one of the important things for the both of us. And you just mentioned your mom, your father, but talk to me a little bit about potentially how your definition of manhood has changed since becoming a father.
Man, it's came a long way. I mean, I used to could just go about life as I please and not have to worry about a single soul but John Kelly. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of selfishness in that, you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm not a selfish person
Right.
per se, but at the same time, I didn't have to, worry about making sure this person eats, making sure this person has, clothes, a roof over their heads, you know what I'm saying? And being able to pour into that person. So now I not only have to consume things for myself, but I have to consume things for her. So I have to make sure that I'm the best person that I can be in order to continue to pour into her. So I think, going back to sacrifices, I think that's what it boils down to. You know what I'm saying? Doing the work now in order to make sure that she has everything that she needs. So, I would start there.
Yep. So let's actually take a step back real quick and thinking about sacrifice, because I think what often happens as men is we try to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, and oftentimes we find that it's a little bit more difficult than we think it turns out to be. So can you talk to me a little bit about for you personally the impact of manhood on your mental health and some of the things that we carry?
Man, manhood can be heavy.
Yep.
The saying is heavy is the head that wears the crown. And I think, especially as a black man, we kind of carry a lot. And most people wouldn't even know. I think that I'm a type of person, like I bottle everything in. Like
Right.
most people wouldn't even know that I go through some of the stuff that I go through. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a testament of who I am today. And I'm in a place where I like to share those things because I want to help other people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of in a position now to where, I have a routine and, to help with my mental health. And, thanks to you, you know what I'm saying? Ran into you at that wedding. I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't be where I am today, but, I'm forever grateful for that, man. And just, you know, taking that routine, that includes, meditation, journaling, read my word and, things of that nature, just making sure that I'm being consistent. I think in this society, as a man, you have to find your disciplines. You have to find a way to be disciplined in order to continue to move forward. Um, you know, uh, I think my brother sent me something the other day, and it was something along the lines of a man who stands. I think the saying is a man that who stands for nothing falls for anything, something like that. Which
Yep.
one is that?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
so I feel like you have to stand for something. You have to have that routine to keep you going because an
Yep.
undisciplined man, you fall to shreds, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, put it this way. He said, "You don't rise to the level of your goals; you fall to the level of your systems." And to me, when thinking about that, systems is what helps guide you in some of your toughest moments, which means you have to be disciplined. So, in thinking about that, help me understand what discipline means to you and the impact you feel like that actually has on your life.
I think, following a consistent plan, figuring out what in life as a man that you want to do, like who you
Right.
want to become as a person, digging deep to figure out who you are as a person. I think that, eternally will help you to be the man that you want to become. And
Right.
once you figure that out and figure out, what it's going to take to get there, I think you'll be in good hands. You know what I'm saying? I think that for me personally, like I was just mentioning, like the meditations and journaling and things like that. Like I find joy. Um I find peace in doing those things. And whenever I don't do those things, I kind of feel off.
Right.
So I
Right.
think that goes back to just being disciplined in general. Because once you find that routine, I feel like it's going to help you with your day to day. Because
Yep.
I feel like it's so much that goes on in this world that we as men, sometimes we just want to fall on our knees, bro, and just give up. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because
Yep.
it can get tough. It can get so tough.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? But if you find the discipline in that, you'll be able to stick to what you know, and that's gonna help you get through every time. That's gonna
Right.
help you get through every time. Your routine, whatever you decide, that is.
Right. So what I find interesting, everybody that I talk to, every man that I talk to, especially those of us who are over 30, we've had some sort of experience in our lives where we're just trying to figure it all out. And we have to go through this transition period of trying to figure out what comes next. So walk me through maybe potentially an experience for you, whether it's a individual experience or just an overall experience that maybe lasted for a few months or a couple years where you feel like your manhood was completely challenged and how you navigated that part of your life.
Man, when I think about that question, I would say when I first had a kid, um, I think that's the first thing that comes to mind because at that moment you helping to bring a life into this world. So now you have to fend for this person. You have to make sure this person is taken care of,
Right.
and in my experience, I work in college athletics. So the way that my job field is set up is you got to move all over the world in order to move up. And I was faced with a unique challenge. And at that moment, like my first full-time job was in Florida. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Like my
Yep.
daughter was born in Nashville. So I had to make that decision. Like, okay, do I take this job? You know what I'm saying? I got a newborn. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of, communicating. As a man, you got to put that pride to the side and try to figure out what's best for you and your family.
Right.
Ultimately, I decided to go to Florida to take that job, but I knew what the end goal was. And I
Right.
think if you have an end goal and that incorporates making sure that your daughter is taken care of and just making sure, everybody's good, I think, what I'm saying, that makes all that made the situation better, what I'm saying, because I had to sacrifice. Like that hurt, what I'm saying. I had to find a way to fly home every single month, in
Right.
order to make sure that I'm getting that skin to skin time and making sure that I'm able to be in my daughter's life. Like it wasn't no fun,
Right.
having to be on FaceTime. You see what I'm saying? But that's the sacrifice that I had to make, that I think that challenged my manhood, because I'm just like, when I'm all the way 2,000 miles away and she in Nashville, like, my heart is back in Nashville, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
my physical body is in Florida. So I'm just like, okay, what could I do to help, you know, the situation? What could I do to help my partner? Like, how could I continue to build and make sure that my daughter is raised into the queen that, I want her to be, and that God wants her to be. So I think that it challenged me. It helped me to grow up real fast. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy to say that I'm where God wanted me to be, and I'm happy
Yeah.
to say that I'm where, you know, the universe wanted me to be in general, because I'm back where my daughter is, raising her, pouring into her, but that all came from that one sacrifice that I had to make in order to get here. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm blessed because of it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So why do you feel that's important in terms of where you are right now?
With the sacrifice,
Yeah, the sacrifice, the challenge of going through that experience, all of that.
it's just something deep in my mind that I just knew that I would end up landing on my feet. You
Right.
know, my siblings, my mom and them too, just my family, they always joke about, the faith that I have. I feel like I've always had a strong faith. And I feel like in that moment it was really tested.
Right.
And just going through that, I told them, I told my partner at the time, like it's gonna be okay, like we gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
told my family we gonna be good. I'm going to be back. And I knew that. Like I wasn't just saying it just to blow smoke. Like I just knew that the universe was gonna work it out. See, I was speaking that before I even knew what any of that stuff really meant, you know. so,
Yeah.
so now that I'm doing the practices that I'm doing, like I understand like how I got to where I am and what I did to get to this position. How, it was all about my mindset and how and what I was thinking and how I kind of basically manifested myself into where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm a pivot here just a little bit. How do you balance with what society expects of you as a man versus what you have to do on a day to day basis?
I think that society, it's is inevitable. It changes so much. The expectations of a man, and we can joke all day, like about perspectives and what people think that men should do
Right.
on the daily. I think as a man, you have to stay true to yourself and figure out what is it and what kind of person that you want to become, not what
Right.
society wants you to be. Because if you living up to society's expectations, then you may fail every time.
Right.
I'm a man, and I'll be the first to admit that I've always been a person that cared what people thought about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was it was detrimental to me in a sense because I will always be in a people pleasing business. I will always, go over and beyond for everybody else because I wanted everybody around me to feel, good.
Right.
And I think society puts this weight on our shoulders like, man, you have to be a provider. You have to do this. You have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, what do we do for ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think the biggest thing I learned as a man is that sometimes you have to do stuff for yourself.
Right.
I'm going to provide. I'm going to stay true to myself. I'm going to do right by people. I'm going to give cheerfully. I'm going to do all the things that I'm supposed to do, especially that I think that I'm supposed to do as a man. And not what society thinks I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, I still have to stay true to myself. I still have to find ways to make myself the best John Kelly that I can be. Because if I'm not the best me that I can be, then how could I help everything around me? And you just can't put those unnecessary pressures on yourself because it's not good for your mental. Society wants, I'm trying to think of what society wants me to be, but
society wants you to be a lot of things, bro.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not gonna fit into that box. You can't box me in. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always felt like I can do anything in this world. Like my confidence has always been through the roof, but humbly. You see what I'm saying?
For sure.
I'm just gonna do what I think is best for me, and I'm today years old when I've started to do things for myself and it make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still able to do for others. I'm still able to give cheerfully. I'm still able to pour into the people around me, including my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And not, conform to the societal norms.
What's interesting about your last statement is just thinking about my personal journey, which obviously you know a lot about. There was a time where I had to go through like some really difficult experiences, and I found that in that process I had to learn to love myself in a completely different way, which meant actually taking the time to do the meditations, actually taking the time to step away and release. Can you walk me through what that potential either routine looks like for you, or if it's not specific to a routine, what self-care actually looks like for you as a man?
Man, self-care looks like, to me, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I'm going to pour into others. Of course, I'm going to give to others. But I think as far as my routine that helps me to be the best me that I can be every day, I would say, I wake up. First thing I do is, read the daily word. That's the first thing. I took a step back from social media to where I don't even get on social media pretty much anymore at all. I will have a presence at some point, someday, but as of right now, I think that it was best for me to kind of take a step back from that, which has helped my mental tremendously. So going back to my routine, I would say instead of waking up and scrolling like I used to, I wake up and just pop Instagram over like it wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
Scroll just to wake myself up, But what I do is I open the Bible out, I read the word, and once I'm done with that devotion, I go and I put my mat down. I sit in a quiet place, find a quiet place, and then I'll find me a meditation that I want to kind of listen to. I sit down, whether that's it depends on how much time I have in the morning, but I try to get at least 15 minutes of meditation time to where I'm just breathing and, gathering my inner thoughts before I go out into the world.
Right.
And once I'm done with that, I'll probably listen to some type of prosperity type of recording while I'm journaling, something that's in my ear that is positive while I'm journaling, whether I'm talking to God or telling about how I want my day to be, just writing down my thoughts, writing down my goals, and, putting things into the atmosphere, putting it on wax is like, as they like to say, you know what I'm saying? So, I think that's part of my routine. And then, followed by journaling, I stretch and I gotta hit 50, at least 50 push-ups every
Yes, sir.
morning. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? You know where I got that from. I tell the world when I was in middle school, when we were in middle school, I went to middle school with Tillman, and it was like he was like a legend. You know what I'm saying? When it came to push-ups, they said Tillman can hit 100 push-ups in one sitting, and I was like, in middle school, I was like, how? You know what I'm saying? But you can see because he was always stocky. You know what I'm saying? So to this day, I've been trying to hit 100 push-ups straight. I've got the most I've gotten to was 86. I'm almost there. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? So
Yes, sir.
I've been trying to do that, and that's how we connected.
Yep.
My line brother, he had a wedding, and I happened to see Tillman, and that's how I led the conversation with, because I just wanted to give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lift weights. I train. I do all that kind of stuff. I play. I'm a college athlete. I was a college athlete,
Right.
but I don't think any of that would have been possible had I not wanted to be fit like Tillman and Trey Payne and people like that. So I
Yes,
just
sir.
it was just an opportunity, and I just seen Tillman, and something on my heart was just like, go give him his flowers, and that's what I did, and that's how we kind of got reconnected in that sense. So yeah, man, I'm just blessed to be here, and I just feel like everything is in alignment, and everything happens for a reason. Every encounter happens for a reason, and I'm grateful for it, for sure.
For sure, bro. And what's so interesting about you even saying that is just talking about the piece as it relates to alignment. But in addition to that, there's so many opportunities that I think we miss as men to not only speak with each other, but actually connect with each other. And I think that was an important moment for both of us, just so you're aware. And I think as we've continued to stay connected and grow together, there's been a lot of things that have just changed, but that wouldn't be possible if ego was attached to it. And I think a lot of people have ego attached to a lot of the things that they do. So can you potentially walk me through where you feel ego may have challenged you and how you navigated that experience?
Man, I would probably say walking on to play college football.
Mm.
I would think about that often, because it kind of makes me revert back to this place whenever I feel a challenging time.
Yep.
And I was a walk on for many who don't know. Walked on at MTSU to play football, and I didn't make the team the first two tries. I finally made the squad, and it's crazy because one of my good friends, D-Bap actually transferred from a D2 school and came to MTSU, and we both tried out at the same time. And D-Bap got a call and was like, you made the team. And I was excited for him, like, I made the team.
You're right.
But not
Right.
but not knowing that the universe was working to where I was so excited for him. God blessed me to make the team too. I
Right.
know I put in the work, but it was just at that moment, just being so happy for him that I didn't even care about myself in that moment. So
Yeah.
I feel like my ego was just, I feel like there was a time where it could have been challenged. Like, it could have went a different way. Like, I could have been like, how this man come from another school and make it? He get the call first. D-Bap was D-Bap 6'2", 6'3", big, stocky dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was looking at him. They weren't worried about me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was just that moment. Like, I just felt like I just wanted to celebrate him and let him know, like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? It's go time. Like, let's go. And for me to get that call a few hours later just let me know, bro, my heart was in a good place. And another thing with that is when I walked on, man, bro, I made sure that I was first in everything. Like,
Right.
I was never in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to be the hardest worker on the team. Like, it got to a point where one of the starters was like, bruh, you need to slow down. You making us look bad. I promise. I
believe
won't
you.
say a name for the sake of the video, but he was like, man, you need to slow down. You making us look bad. That same dude we ended up we had a bad record the prior season. We went, I want to say, did we go 8-4? Something like that. We had a winning season. We went to a bowl game. That same dude came up to me and said, "Bro, I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You help to carry this team, bro. Like,
Mm.
and I never forget that. You know what I'm saying? So I said I had to say, I went on to, earn, some team accolades, workhorse of the year 2021. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a testament of work. But my ego was challenged in that moment because he told me I need to slow down. Like I'm making them look bad. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I'm like, that's what I'm here to do. What you
Right.
mean? You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure. For
Like I'm gonna
sure.
keep going. You know what I'm saying? And I think as a man, sometimes challenge is good. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Because sometimes that pushes other people, to do great things as well. And I think
Yep.
in that moment, not even knowing that I challenged him, and I probably brought something out of him that he didn't even know he had. And he brought something out of me because he opened the animal up in me. Like, I'm like, okay, I got to go even harder now.
Yes,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying?
Yes,
So,
sir.
I'm forever appreciative of those moments, man. Those are times that I just revert back to. The first one is when D-Bop made the team first, and I didn't even know I was going to make it, just showing gratitude for somebody else. And the second thing is, when somebody challenges you, you know what I'm saying? Don't take it in a negative way. You know what I'm saying? Channel that energy to something good. You know what I'm saying? And in the end, it's gonna all work out.
Yep. Yep. And I believe, bro, and you know this as well, but everything begins with gratitude. And the fact that even the way that you told this story, that started with gratitude, and because you didn't have ego attached to it, and you had gratitude in your heart, it came back around to you. So,
Mm-hmm.
kind of even thinking about that though, how important is it for us to be able to have those conversations that sometimes are uncomfortable conversations to have with other men?
I mean, I feel like they got to be had because if you don't have those conversations, what are y'all doing? Y'all just going through the motion. Like nobody is growing there.
Yep.
Like, what I'm saying? I'm not saying argue with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, but as a man, stand true to yourself and being genuine, you should be able to, you know, give constructive criticism and that person not feel offended and vice
Right.
versa. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got to be able to take what you dish out. And I think as men, we have to learn to put pride to the side and not take everything as a challenge in a negative way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And just, you know, taking it for what it is. Like, I feel like this person may have my best interest at heart. So they're telling me something that they see from their eyes that, you know, I may be doing that I can't see because I'm in it.
Yep.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So just taking that, you know what I'm saying? And just understanding that every encounter has a purpose.
Yep.
Um, yep.
Walk me through potentially a difficult conversation either someone has had with you or you've had to have with somebody else.
I would say just thinking about that, like I gotta think. It's so many situations, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of person like I'm high energy guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm always on go. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And understanding that everybody around me might not have the same energy. Everybody around me may not be, you know, and that doesn't make them less of a person. That doesn't make me better than them. But understanding that, you know, people operate differently,
Yep.
and me having to understand that, and just reverting back to the whole slow down moment. Like I get that often, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I get it's in different contexts. Like, you know, people may think people may take my confidence or my energy the wrong way.
Right.
And I'm appreciative of somebody telling me, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like you may have said this wrong. You may have come off the wrong way to me. You know what I'm saying? Rather than hate on me. You know what I'm saying? Don't hate on me. You know what I'm saying? Just be real. Tell me. If something is bothering you about me or about my aura or about how I am as a person. And I'll look at I'll take it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And not everything is is a bad thing because they may see something that I don't see.
Yeah.
So I'm understanding of that. So I can't really just pinpoint one situation in particular outside of like what we just talked about. But
Yep.
man, it's just being able to listen, bro. And they say God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Just trying to listen more and not be the one that's always doing all the talking, and
Right.
just understanding that people have their own views on things too, just like you have your own views. You not the wisest man in the world, John Kelly. You know what I'm saying? Like you can listen to other people. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying, and take their criticism and give feedback and try to see how you can apply it to make yourself a better person. I'm my biggest critic, so I'm always looking for ways to make myself better. I'm always looking for coaching. I'm always looking for somebody to tell me something that I don't see, so that
Right.
I can have a better understanding of who I am and what others may see that I don't.
Man, that's a powerful statement that you just gave, bro. Just the idea that you want that level of coaching, that level of mentorship, having that approach, I think is something that from an ego standpoint, a lot of men just simply do not have. One of the things you just mentioned, even just now, was about listening. And we talked a little bit earlier about communication. How important is communication to you in terms of manhood?
You have to communicate. You have to be vulnerable enough to talk about things,
Yep.
especially amongst other men.
Mm-hmm.
There may be some uncomfortable situations that you have to have. You have to address things um, right then and there. Don't let it
Right.
boil over the pot. And I'm just learning this stuff too. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking a lot of leadership, professional development courses to
Right.
where I'm learning how to speak up for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because normally as a man, especially me, like I bottle everything in. Like most people will say, "Oh, he a private person. He don't talk too much about what he has going on." But I'm learning like, shoot, I can talk all day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I want to tell people, I want to talk to people and tell them, the things that I'm going through. I want to talk to people and kind of, be able to communicate because I'm learning that God blesses us through other people.
Mm-hmm.
So how do I expect to be blessed if I'm not, actively communicating to other people? How do I know? I mean, how do I expect people to know what I'm going through if I'm not communicating? Let's say, for instance, if I'm going through a financial struggle. Most men go through financial struggles, and they won't say a word about it. But
Yeah.
they have so much pride that they scared to voice it to other people. And that person may have a resource that I could use. That person may know somebody, may have a job,
Right.
whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Waiting on me. But only thing I have to do is communicate. We
Yep.
get so caught up in our pride as men that we don't want to ask nobody for nothing. We don't want to be in that state, or we don't want nobody to look down on us because of, said situation. But at the same time, like you have to be able to be vulnerable. You have to be able to communicate and talk and voice those things for other people to understand what you're going through. You never know how you may help that other person by just simply stating what you're going through. Y'all
Right.
may be going through the same exact thing. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
with y'all, with the synergies connecting and you telling that person what you're going through and they going through the same thing, you don't know how blessed you can make that situation because y'all can work through it together. And that's
Preach.
part of community.
Yes,
That's how
sir.
community works. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Preach.
Yep.
About to put you in the pulpit in a minute, bro. The boy preaching.
Nah, nah.
Oh man. So one word I won't skip out on, and I think this is almost like a taboo topic to talk about in terms of
Mhm.
manhood. You just mentioned vulnerability. Help me
Mhm.
understand what vulnerability means to you.
Man, just stepping out of your comfort zone and, you know, saying things and opening up in ways that you wouldn't normally do.
Yep.
Going back to the whole pride thing, like a lot of times we don't want other people to perceive us as weak, because men, as men, we have to, show that we're strong. You know what I'm saying? We have to put on this persona, that, nothing can derail us. And
Right.
which I understand it, that's the way that God made us. However, we don't want to have too much pride to where we can't be vulnerable. Because help comes through vulnerability. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? You have to
Mm.
be able to admit certain things in order to receive the help that you need.
Yep.
If we walk around and just with our chest poked out and act like ain't nothing bothering us, can't nothing touch us, you know what I'm saying? But go home and cry in the car, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could that help us?
Yeah.
How could that help us? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So just figuring it out, like understanding, like finding somebody to talk to, finding somebody, I personally started my journey through seeking a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us men, especially black men, think that that's like a disease, like that's something that we don't necessarily want to follow through with. But at the same time, like I feel like therapy is the key to understanding deeply who you are in order to become your best self.
Yeah.
And I did that, you know what I'm saying? And first couple sessions, it was hard for me to open up, but I finally did so, and I'm blessed because of it. And
Yep.
now, like, I just want to tell the world about me. I want to tell the world about my story to be able to help somebody else. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Because I felt like I felt sorry, excuse me. I felt like I've kept a lot of that hidden from everybody. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Now I'm vulnerable enough to help everybody else. Because when you're vulnerable and you get the help you need, now you want to help everybody else. Now you want to go out and help more men and help
Yep.
more people that's going through the same situations that you're going through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what you just said, help comes through vulnerability. And I think when going back to even my personal journey with therapy, one thing my therapist said to me, he said, as I went through some of the experiences that I went through, he said I was the kind of person who would set myself on fire for everybody else to stay warm. And several sessions after that, he talked about all the trauma that I had experienced. And there was this moment where he saw a shift, and he was like, "You know what you just experienced?" I was like, "I don't know." He said that's what we call post-traumatic growth. And
Mm.
it was one of those things to me in that moment. I knew exactly what he was talking about, because on one end there's PTSD, that post traumatic
Yep.
stress disorder that a lot of us deal with, that we are unsure that we're dealing with and we don't know that we're dealing with. But I'll share a stat with you based on what you said. This is something I read probably like last year. It's probably a little bit different now, so take it with a grain of salt. But it said actually I'll share the women's stat with you first. It said 24.7% of women said they sought some sort of mental health treatment in the last 12 months.
Mm.
13.4% of men sought some sort of mental health treatment in the last 12 months. But to me, where the issue lies is that on the flip side, when we talk about mental health, we talk about suicide statistics, which obviously is a personal topic for me. While men represent 50% of the population, we represent 79% of suicides. And that number, in terms of total population, continues to grow. So, in hearing that, how does that make you feel in terms of how men should seek out therapy in your personal journey?
Man, I just want to help people based off those stats alone. Like I
Yeah.
I feel like God has been too good to me for me to bottle this in when I
Mm-hmm.
can go and help the next man, when I can go be vulnerable and tell people of the things that I'm going through in hopes that I may help them, overcome what they're going through. You know what I'm saying? And, I got a group me with my friends. We probably had a group message for probably since 2011, to where we still going strong. And, we, that's all we do. We encourage each other. We
Mm-hmm.
try to figure out, we're vulnerable. We try to be vulnerable with each other as much as we can. So it makes me feel good that I can wake up, open my Bible app, send the scripture, send the prayer, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know, I don't know who I'm helping in that group. Some people may not receive it that day,
Yep.
but throughout, you know, my time of, going through that routine and consistently sending that message to them every single morning, the response I get, man, I appreciate you. I
For
appreciate you.
sure.
Like you came through in the clutch, you know what I'm saying? Because I needed that today.
Yep.
It may hit one friend on Monday, and then it'll hit another friend on Friday. You know what I'm saying? You just never know which message may, resonate with, each friend. So that's why I feel like it's my duty to be consistent because you never know what day, when that person will be receptive of the information that you're putting out. That's why consistency is key.
Yep.
It's just like making a sale. Like you may not, them Girl Scouts may not make that sale to them cookies. You know what I'm saying? Today, but that same person may come back, you know what I'm saying, a week later, and they may be craving some Girl Scout cookies. You never know what that
Right.
craving may be. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying, in that moment in time. So you just have to be consistent. You just have to do your part. And they'll fall in line.
Yeah. You know what the church folks say? They say, I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody who can save
About
anybody.
right. Yep.
Oh man. But okay, so let's do this, bro. Let's pivot a little bit because I know we've been on and we'll probably talk forever. But tell me about what you would say, and I can probably guess what you're going to say, but tell me about your proudest moment as a man.
I won't even go to the walk on story because I feel like that was a testimony in itself.
Yep.
I would say my proudest moment, bro, as a man. Man, I got so many moments. Jeez.
I feel
Woo.
it, bro. I feel it.
I'm like I got so many testimonies, bro. Like God's
As
been
you
so good
should.
to me.
As you
And
should.
I guess I'm just trying to pick one, you know what I'm saying? Because I could tell them all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man, I would say I give you this one, and this is just because I feel like on the topic, I think it's prevalent.
Yep.
Um, I didn't, my dad wasn't in my life, you know what I'm saying, pretty much. So, I had, I think I grew up in the church, so was just going to church just to go to church. I went into church, really didn't like going. I just wanted to go because all the other kids at some point. My mama went. She went cold turkey, and just decided, hey, we want to go to church, so we would go to church. And I wasn't really into it like that. And I would say that we went to the National Baptist Congress, and my mom wanted me to mime. Most people don't know what that is, but like you paint your face white and you kind of dance to gospel music, and I didn't want to do it because I felt like it was so many girls there. You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like that wasn't the cool thing at the time,
Right.
and my mama couldn't get a hold of me, so she sent our youth pastor at the time to talk to me. And this man, he approached me like no other man approached me before.
Mm-hmm.
And at that moment, I felt like I was vulnerable because my mom couldn't, talk to me in the same way that he talked to me.
Right.
And long story short, we started to build a relationship. And mind you, keep in mind, my daddy wasn't consistent in my life. So as our relationship grew stronger, he would tell me he loved me. And I ain't know how to take that because I'm like, man, it's another man telling me he loved me. I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so gradually, as the relationship, was built, this man taught me so much. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Eventually, I started to see him as, my father figure. Um, and I say all that to say that I think my proudest moment was accepting, another man, telling me he loved me and being
Mm.
able to say it back.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that, like, it's like going to the gist of the conversation, and as men we have to be strong, like we have to put on this shell and be macho and provide and do all this kind of stuff. But I think that was my first vulnerable moment,
Mm.
because I allow another man, which I call my dad now, to tell me that he loved me, and I was able to say it back.
Man.
Like, that took a lot out of me, bro. It took a lot out to say it back, and now we don't go a day without saying it.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's just, out of all that, aside from my daughter, now Ellie might watch this and say, "I want your proudest moment, baby. You was my proudest moment." But I'm talking in the context of this conversation, like just you know, allowing myself to be vulnerable in that moment, and that man helped me to do so much in my life.
Mm-hmm.
He would tell me I was his favorite athlete. I think he had played an integral role in me being the college athlete that I was. Like, he poured into me, and I think that's what helped me and has given me the passion to want to pour into others.
Right.
Because if I never met a cheerful giver before, I would say that's my dad.
Mm. Mm.
Lee Lauderdale. I say his name. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Make sure to leave that in here.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
I never met anybody that I felt was a cheerful giver and that just poured into people nonstop, I would say that man. And I just feel like that's my proudest moment. It get to a point where most of the time now I ain't crying on her, and I don't cry for the most part.
Hey, bro, you
But
ain't gotta be tough, man.
I'm just saying, most of the time when I talk about him, and I just think about what God placing him in my life and the things that he's done for me, I kind of get emotional because I know where I could have been. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I know where I was raised. We all from South Memphis. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know where they could have led to. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And being raised with a cousin, we both was practically raised the same way, and he went a different way. And I was able to get that figure in my life to help steer me the opposite direction. I think made all the better. So I would say that's one of my proudest moments for sure.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's close with this. I know both of us need to get some water. But
Hey man,
if
I'm consistent. I've been a gallon a day, dog. A gallon a day.
So let's do this. If you could describe manhood in one word, what would it be?
Man, I would just, no pun intended. I would just say, discipline.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
you know, a disciplined man could take you can take you so far.
No doubt.
In that. So yeah.
No doubt, bro. Man, it's been a privilege. It always is to connect with you, brother. I always appreciate having conversations with you, what you're doing. I just want everybody listening to acknowledge how insightful this conversation was. But remember, discipline equals freedom. And while manhood can look different for each and every one of us, the core values of authenticity, resilience, and integrity remain universal. We are the disciplined man, and this is what real men think. Until next time, John, appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you for having me, man.
No
Yes,
doubt.
sir. All right, man.